Firebird II was a concept car from 1956 made by GM. Let's get right into it because it's got a lot of overlaps and a lot of interesting components and concepts to it. It is a concept car. Only one was produced as a prototype, really as more of a laboratory on wheels to test out the concept of bringing a gas turbine powered jet engine to a car.
Firebird I, the four-wheeled grandson of the jet airplane. Like its famous predecessors, it too gets its power from a tornado of hot-burning gases. But instead of pushing out of a tailpipe, those hot gases do their work on a turbine that drives the wheels. Even though it was introduced at the 1954 Motorama, Firebird I already is obsolete, but it has served its purpose. GM designed and built it as a test track vehicle to see how well a gas turbine engine could drive an automobile. Could such an idea be adapted to family car driving conditions?
So the interesting thing here is that this is a building on a concept, an aerospace concept. And while we talk today about many innovative car designs and transportation modes, EVs, new gas engines, etc., we are not coming to the point where we're like mimicking any aerospace tech, and that's why a lot of the designs fall flat. So what you need is huge innovation in one space that then can get mimicked and copied across other spaces, other segments of society. But because we've kind of stalled out on that with, hitting the peak with being like information technology, we're really lacking in a lot of innovation that looks like this.
Allison turbojet engines, the forerunners of gas turbine engines. They've also learned a great deal from building the GM Turbo Cruiser, the world's first bus.
We really should cover the Turbo Cruiser.
Still more knowledge.
So I chose this video specifically because it gets into teaching how these engines run for those of you that are not familiar with gas turbines. You might think they're just for jet airplanes. They're not. They're used in power generation plants all over the world. Any backup jet power generator of a certain scale will use similar technology. These are the big power systems that likes of GE and others that create for important purposes around the world.
Has been gained from the engine design for Firebird I. Here is a simple, durable, high-output power plant, a continuous flow of power, and naturally balanced because there are no reciprocating parts, no pistons, no connecting rods, no valves. But could something be done to make it even better? Would it be possible to save some of the waste exhaust heat and put it to work for greater fuel economy? Scores of questions like these were translated into formulas for technical analysis by the giant electronic brain.
So they show that the computer did all these analysis, which is kind of funny considering how much work that would have been at the time. But this video does pick up kind of with the fact that Firebird I was created already. Firebird II is digging in a little deeper.
A myriad of technical problems were encountered through every stage in building a new kind of car.
And they did mention it earlier, but I was probably talking. The aim was to design a family car that could be ridden on normal streets. Not just a prototype to show off how fast it could go or something like that. But they'd have to have, good fuel mileage and economy and not, burn the hedges on the way out of your driveway. Okay, a little overdone. I could have skipped some parts, but we'll show you what they're doing part by part, almost.
Gradually,
it does just underscore the fact that dozens, or if not hundreds, of different machines are required for producing complex machinery or vehicles and things like that, and hundreds probably of individual men worked on this, and there's masters in their specific trade.
A new and vastly improved gas turbine began to take form. First, the gasifier turbine is fitted to the compressor. Then the revolutionary new drum regenerator, one of the most important developments in this project. Next, the burner section, which produces a blast of hot gas. And this package represents a small jet engine, which drives the power turbine and the vehicle itself. The engine now goes to the test dynamometer, which absorbs and measures power produced by the engine. It is instrumented to study such things as temperatures, pressures, speed, fuel consumption, and power. Here is where the various components of the engine are evaluated. A good place to study the engine in real action. Here's what's going on inside, as shown by this simplified exhibit. Outside air is drawn in by the air compressor and is delivered to the regenerator drum, where the air absorbs the heat of the regenerator. It then is delivered to the burner. Here, because the air is now already hot, only a small amount of fuel is needed to bring it up to operating temperature.
Compare that to the internal combustion engine, where you might actually prefer to have your air cooled before it comes into the air intake so that it can expand and create even more power. The hotter the fuel is, the less it takes to heat it up, in this case, to then produce more thrust.
The hot burning gases then push out through the gasifier turbine. Back at the power turbine, the heated gases continue through the blades and drive the car. Instead of being exhausted directly to the outside, these hot gases are detoured to the regenerator, through which they pass and give up most of their heat, about 80%. Then they're released to the outside air at mild temperatures.
There is kind of a similar comparison to the use of turbos or superchargers in this case, in a combustion engine. But in this case, it's all about just keeping that hot exhaust and reusing it again, which is kind of amazing because the this kind of closed loop system doesn't exist in very many machines that we use at a commercial consumer level.
The drum is constantly rotating, first through the hot exhaust gas, then through the relatively cool air from the compressor, carrying the heat from the exhaust to the incoming air. If there were no regenerator, the compressor air would go directly to the burner with no preheating.
Oh, I see. They're not actually reusing the exhaust. They're just using it as a heat transfer to the incoming air.
On through the turbines and straight out without utilizing its exhaust heat. While the GT304 engine is being perfected, a new kind of chassis for the Firebird II is developed by other men of the research staff. In their effort to create a new car, they introduce a chassis with many revolutionary automotive concepts. In this cutaway chassis, for example, we see the electrical system, which features a high-capacity alternating current generator, much smaller than its DC counterpart. The charging system uses a rectifier to produce direct current for the car's 12-volt battery. Another engineering advantage is a central hydraulic system with a special pump built by Saginaw Steering Gear Division. The system supplies and stores oil under high pressure, which makes it possible to use the hydraulic units even before the engine is started.
Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know. I should have done some research to see if that was a new discovery. It sounds like a new creation of the hydraulics, which we take for granted with everything from power steering to power braking and various other components within modern cars. And then this here is disc braking as well, which is another innovation.
Squeezing a rotating cast iron disc between pads of metal lining material. Balanced braking at each wheel helps eliminate swerving or pulling to one side. This yellow cylinder is the Delcomatic air oil suspension, a new idea in the Firebird II, which provides a soft, comfortable ride, giving the car the best height above bump stops regardless of load. Trapped air acts as the spring. This is a simulated ride down a rough and rocky road without air oil suspension.
Thunk, thunk.
Now, air oil suspension takes the bumps out of the road.
I mean, this is similar to the strut systems that we have in most of our vehicles. Going beyond leaf springs to actual hydraulic or air
with another new
systems.
conception in automotive suspension. A short stub axle suspended from the frame by a swing arm at the rear. It's kind of like knee action. The GM engineering staff's transmission development group designed and built a rotating 4-speed planetary gear and fluid coupling transmission with an idle cutout that allows the power turbine to drive accessories without driving the wheels. By mounting the transmission between the rear wheels, the usual hump in the front floor is eliminated and better weight distribution is obtained. Wires and tubes are routed through the double floor, an integral part of the frame construction. Now there's a feeling of accomplishment.
So that's interesting. Like if they were saying, what I think they're saying is kind of the power takeoff system that uses serpentine belts today was inspired by this. It sounds like to me, because they're saying that you can get power out of the engine without having the drive wheels activated, which is interesting.
Wires and tubes are routed through the double floor, an integral part of the frame construction. Now there's a feeling of accomplishment. The car begins to materialize with the installation of WorldFire turbo power in a compact air-cooled engine. The power is ready now for the celebrated body.
Most of these cars we remember just for the body, and we never see inside. We just think they look awesome.
This car,
Sweet.
a sturdy, lightweight, non-corrosive metal body is desired, and titanium, a new wonder metal, is used. But styling is more than just a matter of pleasing lines, pretty colors, and a dash of chrome. It takes careful arranging to integrate the power plant chassis and body. Primarily, the passengers must be made comfortable in attractive seats, for the Firebird must look as well as perform.
It looks really good. Looks like it would be very comfortable. Whoa, wait a minute. Okay, obviously a design prototype, kind of test bed platform. That looks like an airplane or a jet airplane cockpit.
Breath of life to this experimental car.
That's awesome.
And so is born GM's Firebird II, another historic milestone in automotive engineering. Here's a study of the Firebird through a cinemascope lens, gliding down the highway of tomorrow.
That's cool. They even got the fin design on the back, which was kind of a common thing that they were working on in the 50s and 60s.
To serve the motoring public. This is a family car with the magic of jet power.
I assume it should steer and handle just as well as any vehicle did. But we don't see it do anything more than going straight so far.
Research men and engineers keep probing into the future, trying new experiments with the gas turbine engine and the Firebirds of tomorrow. For the men of ideas in these laboratories, the present tense never catches up. They work and live in the future, trying to foresee the scientific world ahead.
Yeah, so that's amazing. The inspiration and the ideas all coming together to improve both the ride, the performance, the luxury, and I didn't even realize till just now that it was two engines actually in there. They made them compact enough to both fit two of them under the hood. That's amazing. And I would really love to see these in action. And I know there's other ones that there's one other model that we'll cover in another video when I get back to aerospace and automobile stuff, as well as that bus that they mentioned at the beginning. All really interesting things. Drop a comment if you have a preference for a car from the jet age. Thank you. Please like and subscribe.